Good afternoon, Grant.
Good afternoon.
Believe it or not, even though it doesn't sound like it, I'm feeling better.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get started. Let's see. Recording. Now, I have to warn you that this morning my internet connection dropped about 4 times. Once I got it back up and waited, it did not cut off the sound. So I'm hoping that if I lose my connection, the same thing happens today. But I have to get out and reestablish the connection just in case that happens. Okay, so we're in day 69, as it says here, and I know, Mr. Desher, you've already done so, but if you have not done so already, please watch Mr. Gudmiston's deployment, um, how to deploy an ASP.NET Core MVC app with a database to Azure as soon as you can. Afterwards, go out, and I copied this. This is a working copy of the Chapter 16 bookstore. See if you can, following those instructions, you can deploy it. Now, yesterday, just FYI, I wanted to show people how to do it. The problem is I have a problem with my Azure account that, for whatever reason, the people at Microsoft can't figure out. Yesterday, I got back in again to ask them, and of course, it comes up with a bot. And no matter what I put in, rather than answering my question, it would just push me off to a different website. You know, do this if you have this problem, do this if you have this problem. It was none of those problems. So I tried that for a half an hour and I tried to get a human being and I couldn't. So I gave up. All right. So what I'm going to do today and tomorrow is we're going to look at Sports Pro 16.1. I've got it done. Friday will be a lab. Next Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to go back to the ball store project. I'm going to update mine this weekend. I'm going to show everybody what I did to update it. All right, we'll take a look at that. And then the rest of the semester will be lab. All right. So the other thing we'll do on Monday is we'll go over the requirements for your e-portfolios. Now, I don't know if I showed you guys this or not, but it's very, very, very simple to go out to Netlify. And so what I'll do is build just a quick little bogus e-portfolio and throw it out there on Netlify to show people how to do that. All right. Finally, as it says, this authorization that we're going to start today and finish hopefully tomorrow is due not this Sunday, or is it this Sunday? I don't know. A week from Sunday on the 17th. Your version of the ball store due by midnight Wednesday, because I'll be grading it Thursday, and your e-portfolio will be due Tuesday. Finally, I'm off 12/8 and 12/15, so just so you know that. So with that said, let's leave here, and let's go over to not here. Let's go over to right here. So this is what we're going to be working on. This is the last case study for Sports Pro. As it says, for this assignment, admin functions are only available to users and users who have logged in as admin. So you'd have to be an admin in here to get to the different admin functions. All right. What that basically means is when you're an admin, you can go into technicians and you can go basically into just about anything that's here. Anybody can go into home. All right. But if you want to come in and add other stuff, basically, you have to be in as an admin, and I'll show you that in just a couple minutes. So this is it for our specifications. There's not a lot. So as it says, if you're an anonymous user, you can go to the home page, you can go to the about page, the register page, or the login page. If you try to go to any other page, you should be bumped right over to the login page. All right. If you enter a valid username and password into the login page, you should be redirected. All right. So in other words, if I tried to go, let's say, to the technician page, all right, and it came back and I wasn't logged in, it should push me to the login page. All right. Now, if I go and log in and I'm an admin, it should get me back to the technician page. If I'm not logged in as admin, it should display an access denied page. All right. The nav bar, as it says, should display login and register if you're anonymous, log out, all right, with a welcome message if you've already logged in and you've been authenticated. Next, only a user in the admin role should be able to access admin pages. Again, that should make sense. Any authenticated user should be able to access the update incident page that's designed for technicians. Finally, on startup, and I think I did this one, we're going to find out. The app should add a user with a username of admin and a password of P@SSW0RD. So let me bring mine up. And I will run it. And I'm going to log in or try to as admin with P @ SSW0RD. I think that was it. Log in, and you'll notice I'm an admin. All right, so I can manage products. All right, I can manage technicians, I can manage customers, I can manage incidents, I can manage registrations. And you see, I've got log out, I've got my welcome message here. All right, if I log out, all right, so right now I'm not logged in, but if I go to manage products, notice I've got to log in. Now, let's do this. Let's register as a new user. All right, now put in here, hello, goodbye. Last name, goodbye. All right. Oh, that should have been first name, sorry. So that's hello, and last name is goodbye. Email, hello at goodbye.com. Username, we'll just say hello, goodbye. Password, I'm going to type in capital HELL000. Capital HELL000. Register. Okay. Hello, goodbye, registered successfully. Notice it did push me back to the admin page, but since I'm not an administrator, when I click here, I get the access denied. That's exactly what it's supposed to be doing. All right. So it said I could go to incidents page. No, I thought I could. Let's jump back out. All right. Let's log back in now as me. So again, username was hello, goodbye. Oops. Hello, goodbye. And the password was capital HELL000. Log in. Invalid username. Somehow I got a back tick on the beginning of that. Try it again. HELL000. All right, so I'm in. All right, it still is trying to push me here, but let's see if I can go to homepage. Good. All right, now manage products, can't do it. Manage technicians, can't do it. Manage customers, can't do it. There's something in there that I'm supposed to be able to do with the incidents. We'll have to check on that in a bit. But basically, I want you to know, because I've tried testing just about everything, and I believe just about everything is working. All right, so let me try one more time, one last thing. So hello, goodbye. HELL000, log in. I go to update incidents. Oh, that is not good. I never saw that before. Fantastic. But we're going to go back to that anyway. That's all right. So what I want to show you is this, and that is when you look in here, we're going to have to do a few things. First of all, what I'd like everybody to do is to go in under Tools, NuGet Package Manager, and go over to your Manage Packages for Solution. All right. And my guess is, Grant, I'll lean on you for this, but my guess is, well, you know what's supposed to be installed in here. I don't know why they're not showing, but they should be. So let's see if I try to there they are. All right. You probably have already Microsoft Entity Framework Core.SQL Server. You probably have already Microsoft Entity Framework Core.Tools. Please add Microsoft.ASP.Core.Identity.Entity Framework. Now, notice I have version 701 of all those, so I use 700 for that one. All right, so I'll give you a second to do that. All right, so with that, we're just going to start looking at what it is we want to get going and start doing. All right. So the first thing that I did was come into app settings.json. And in here, change the name. I just called this Sports Pro Final. So you've still got your original Sports Pro, but this is going to be the final one that we have. That's the only change I made to this file.
Mr. Scott, can you hold on for one
Sure.
second? I'm having
Okay.
that same install issue, it looks like, where it's not accepting the 8.0 version, and then I went back and tried to install the 7.0, and it looks like it's still not installing.
If that's the case, then go back out and try to install I think it was 6.0.6 and see if it'll take that one.
Okay.
Not sure why you'd be having that problem, to be honest with you, if you use 7, but I mean, I believe you're having it, but I don't know why you're having that. The other thing too, just so everybody knows, not you, Chad, but one of the other students in the class had a problem with one of their programs and sent it to me in the mail. Now, if this semester you either reinstalled C# or you upgraded this semester at all, you might be using version 8 right now. I'm still using version 7. Okay. And that's why, at least with that student, I couldn't even read his stuff. When I tried to, it came up with errors. All right. And I'll tell you the reason I haven't upgraded is, and I'm not going to for next semester either when I teach the C# beginning class. The reason I'm not going to do that is if I've got a stable version, I'm too afraid to remove it and having whatever I install be unstable, because I've had that happen before. Then it's just a pain in the butt trying to get it back again, etc. Did that work doing it that way?
It didn't. It says it's not compatible with NetCore App 3.1, which I'm not sure what. I don't remember installing anything that's or selecting anything that's NetCore App 3.1.
Yeah, I didn't see that before. Well, then let's do this. Then go down in there and what was it, 3.1 or 3.0.1?
3.1. Oh, I see. Yeah, mine. Yeah, a lot of mine say instead of 7.0, mine are saying 3.1.
Then just go back and do that.
I can, yeah.
I mean, the other thing you can do is you can uninstall what you have and try to reinstall it at 7.0, whichever works for you.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll do.
We're not in any hurry, so go ahead.
Okay.
Just let me know when you're done.
I'm sorry, I'm still having the same issue. It's saying the target framework Net Core App 3.1 is out of support and will not receive future updates. I'm not sure why I'm on such a old version.
Do you have any idea? I mean, I'm asking you if this is possible. And if you say no, I'll totally believe you. But I'm going to quickly start up a new Visual Studio here. Is there any way when you did this that you didn't set it up for 7.0?
I I don't think I would have. I don't think I would have changed anything.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, I mean, for now, just keep going on. You're not going to be able to do the updates and stuff, but
Yeah,
just
okay.
keep going on. And if nothing else, when you get done, take that folder, put that just the folder with your stuff in it, put it in a GitHub repo, and send it to me. I'll be more than happy to take a look at it later today.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. Sorry about that. No idea what that is. So, all right. So pretty much like usual, like I said, the first thing we want to do in here is to come on in and we're going to change the name in our app settings.json. You could call it whatever you like, but we've already got a Sports Pro. So I just called mine Sports Pro Final. You could call it Sports Pro 17 or 16 or whatever. It doesn't matter. So that's the first thing to do. All right. Then next in our program.cs, there's a bunch of changes we have to make. I'm going to outline them and I'll give you time to put them in. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what was in here and what wasn't in here. I believe this is all stuff here you've got to add. And let me go through all of it and then I'll go back up to the top. You've got this, and then we've got to add this. This was that password stuff that they told us. All right, we've got the app build. Make sure you should have the static files in the routing. You want the use authentication and the authorization. Then we have to put this stuff in. All right. And we have to do an app use session. And I changed my default, if you don't have slug in there now, to put that in. So let's take it from the top. And like I said, I believe you don't have, maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I am, but I believe you don't have any of this here in your program.cs file. So take a look and I'll leave that up there for a second. If I'm wrong, let me know and we'll go on. Totally fine.
Yeah, I don't think I do. I also have the program and startup, like how the book does it. So I'm not sure if I was I was taking stuff from the book at one point.
Well, let's just take a look at all of it in here, okay?
Okay.
So taking it from the top, if you are missing a using statement, the system will let you know. So why don't you just take it from right there? All this stuff must be before your add controllers with views. So you have to put that before that. I don't know if that's easier to read in blue or not in blue. So I'll leave it off unless you want it in blue. Now, you all heard this before, but the completed project will be due a week from Sunday. So what I'm going to try to do this weekend is catch up on grading. I'm a little bit behind, that. But if I'm able to grade this next weekend or a week from Monday or whatever, and people don't have, but you made an attempt. So in other words, um, if you've submitted something, but for some reason it doesn't work, but you've got the majority of it done, then what I'll do is I will add you in a private repo with my copy of it. All right. And that goes for everybody. But I want you to make the effort to do this. All right. Yeah, it's a code along, but I'm thinking you're gonna be able to use a lot of this stuff, hopefully at least, or some of it in the project that we're gonna go back to next week. Are you ready for me to move it down or not yet?
I might just have to go over this later. Something's really not
Okay.
right on my
All
end.
right. All right. Well, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do during the break. Okay, we'll take a break in a half an hour. When we do, I'll take this file and I'll send this out to everybody. All right, just this file. It's not a big file or anything, so I'll do that. All right, then let's take a look and let's start as we typically do with the models. All right. Now your models, all you might have in here right now, yours might not look anything like this, which is totally okay. We're going to add some stuff to it now, but let's start the way we usually do, and let's go into data access. If you don't have a data access folder under models, please add that right now. And under that data access, add a configuration folder. We're going to again remove, we're going to remove the seed data from our context file and end up putting it into our configuration files, as we've done on other occasions. You ready to fill up the configuration folder?
Yes.
Okay, so as you notice, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 files in here. Let's start with the first one. This is the configure identity.cs. All right. This is that thing that's going to run when when the program starts to run. All right. So I'll leave that up here and let you take it from the top here. Again, I'm expecting you called yours Sports Pro. If you called it something else, of course, you're going to have to make the changes accordingly. And I'll be right back. I got to grab a water.
Mr. Scott, if you're there, I'm ready to go on.
All righty, now I'm here. All right, again, this is what's going to happen when we first, this will be Paul, when we first log in, and it'll check to see if we already have that role set up for admin. And if we don't, it'll set it. Then it'll check to see if there's a username set up in there. All right. And if, again, if there is, if it works or if it succeeds, all right. If the username doesn't exist, it'll create it and add it to that role. All right. Uh, Okay, so that's the first thing. So I think that's all of it right there.
Okay, I think I've got it.
All right. Um, I know I've mentioned this before, but I want to say again, probably not next week, but I would guess the following week, each person in any of my classes is going to get an email asking you to do a course evaluation. When I taught this class 2 times ago, I had students do everything. We hardly did anything together. And what ended up happening was we didn't get through very much of the book. So last time we started doing almost everything together. And I had people who were getting it and I had people who were totally confused. I tried to give a hybrid this time where I'm some of the stuff we're doing together and some of the stuff I'm having you do. If you don't think that works, if you think, well, we've done too much code along and not enough individual, put that down on the course eval. If you think, Mr. Scott, you tried, but you sucked, put that down on the course review. I'm just saying this to everybody. Write down what you feel. That's what you should do. All right. So the next one under here is the country config. And that's pretty small. The whole thing is right there.
Okay, I got that.
All right, the next one is the customer config. And again, not real big, so let me move this over and this over. All right, let's make this smaller. If we make it too small, yeah, you're not gonna be able to read it. I'll put this over multiple lines so you can see all of it. This is ridiculous. This is way too much typing to ask you guys to do. I'm trying to figure out a way to do this. Let's look. You got an incident. That's not terrible. Product, that's enough. Technician, that's enough. All right. This is what I'm going to do. Let's take an extended break. We're going to go until 5 to 1. I'm going to come in and I'm going to give you everybody everything that's in the configuration. All right. And also the repository, all this. And we'll start up then and we'll look at the validate and the view models. And then we can go into our actual domain model classes because it's ridiculous for you to sit there and spend all this time typing. So let's take a break. Come back, please, at 12:55. I'm going to grab right now. I'm going to grab the program.cs file, the entire folder for data access. All right, and I'm going to send it to all of you. All right, and we'll pick it up then at 12:55 and we'll go into the validation and the view models. And then we'll look at the actual stuff that's in here. We'll see where we are time wise after that. All right.
Mr. Scott, I know we've still got another couple minutes, but I was able to figure out my problem earlier where I was on that prior version.
Good. What was it?
I went to Project up at the top of Visual Studio, and then I went at the very bottom of that drop-down list, I went to Sports Pro Properties, and I was able to
Yeah.
just upgrade mine to, I upgraded mine to 8.0,
Oh, good.
and then
Okay.
I could download everything.
Sounds good. Well, we might as well start up. I sent everybody this during the break. Now, I want to show you something because I don't want people to just start doing things. And what I mean is this, unless it's changed in the past year, there are some quirks with Visual Studio. This is what I mean. All right. I sent you this. Now, you've got a models folder already. In that models folder, you will have to add a data access folder with the configuration folder in it. You will also have to add a validation folder, and you'll put that file in it. You'll also have to add a view models folder, and you'll have to put those files in it. Now, you would think, okay, that's not a problem. I'll just come in here and, I'll come into my project and I'll just start copying stuff in. It doesn't appear to like that. What you basically have to do is after you go in, so for instance, when you go in here and you've created your data access and your configuration here, all right, then you can go in, right mouse click, choose add existing item, go over to your desktop, find what I just gave, find what I just gave you. All right, in this for the class, wherever the heck it is, there it is. And then your models, configuration, etc. If that makes sense. All right, did I pass? Yeah, and actually for the data access, I guess you probably don't have a data access folder. So you have to make that, and then inside of there, make the configurations folder. All right, then start bringing this stuff over. You can bring all these over at once and put them there. You can bring all of these over at once and put them in the configuration. You can bring in, after you create your view models, you can bring in all of these. But when I just tried to willy-nilly copy them, I remember reading this in an article someplace, that there's a master file. You talked about your project file before, but there's some master file this stuff doesn't get copied to. Did what I just said make sense?
Yes, yeah, I'm doing
Okay.
that now.
All right. So again, what you'll want to do is you'll want to set it up like this. I'm going to open up everything so you can see it. So let me move this. So under configuration, you'll have that. Under validation, you'll have that. And under view models, you'll have that. I know you've got all that already, but I just want to make sure you see it all. So make sure under configure, add these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 files, then close configuration, and under data access, you add these 1, 2, 3, 4 files. And then you can do the same thing with the other ones, and then we'll take a look at that stuff.
Okay, I've got all that stuff
Great.
added.
Okay, so let's take a look at it then. We already looked at the configuration identity. So country, again, is just designed to bring in your country data. Customer, same thing with your customer data. Incident with the incident data. product with the product data, technician with the technician data. That really shouldn't be any kind of a surprise. All right, so we'll close that. And then let's look at these. All right, so we've got a repository in here. We've been doing this now for several programs where we bring in this repository. All right, and we've got basically it's going to help set up our CRUD operations. So our get is the equivalent of read. We've got an insert, which is like create. We've got an update and we've got a delete. So you've got those now. All right, since you've got those, and since that is set up as an interface, then we need to write the regular repository. So basically, that's going to come in there and perform those operations. All right, so you'll notice, again, we've got, as always, the kind of stuff that we've set up. But then we've got our list where we're bringing up everything. We've got our get where we're just bringing up one. We've got our insert, which is going to do the add, the update, which does the update, and the delete, which does the remove. Save is going to call our save changes. All right, hopefully there's nothing in there because we've talked about this before that doesn't make sense to people. All right, this is basically all the stuff that we want to add. Are we doing, if we're doing querying, all right, do we have filtering put in there and or do we have any sorting put in there? All right. Then we've got that query options. We looked at that, and that's working with the file I just showed you. All right, basically doing some initialization work in there. And finally, we've got then our Sports Pro context file. Now, I'm assuming if you look up on the screen here, I'm assuming that in your app settings.json, you called your Sports Pro context. If you didn't, you'll have to change the name of that and make it go with whatever you called yours. All right. So these are the tables we're going to have: products, technicians, countries, customers, and incidents. And what happened then is we replaced the seed data that we had put into this file with our configuration files. All right. And hopefully, I mean, I know I did that quickly, but hopefully we've gone over that enough that that makes sense to everybody. All right. So let me close this. All right. Then I'm just going to work my way down under validate here. If you remember this, we weren't allowed to have somebody with the same. If somebody had an email in the database and you came in or you come in and try to enter the same email, we're not allowed to do that. So every user in here must have his or her own email address. It's not really a primary key, but it sort of is, in that it is a unique identifier. All right. Then next we've got our view models. We'll quickly look at these and then we're going to jump down to here. All right. So let's see. I wanted to look at something once. I'm wondering if I want to make sure I had two versions, unfortunately, running here. So this should be the right version here, but I'm double checking to be sure. See, I've got two versions of Sports Pro up, and that was stupid on my part. So I'm hoping I gave you all the right stuff, because if I copied it from the wrong one, then I'm really even dumber than I thought I was. So let's see. Data access configuration. Yeah, that's all those. That should be correct. iRepository, that should be correct. Query option, that should be correct. Repository, that should be correct. Sports Pro, those should all be correct. All right. Validation, we just looked at, that should be correct. Okay, good. All right, then let's look at view models. I believe what you had originally in there, you did not even have a view model, or you had a view model, but there might have only been one or two in there. Now you'll notice there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 view models. All right. Now, if somebody were to ask me, if somebody were to say, okay, I understand what you're talking about in here, but Can you give me a reason why you create view models? If somebody said that to me, I'd say that you create them so when you are writing your Lambda queries, you don't have to constantly be using includes. So when you've got one table that you're working with, you don't have to bring in another one. That's pretty much what these view models are doing, is it's making sure we don't have to do that. All right. So let's see, here was our first one. Now you'll notice in here, some of these are going to have validation in there. Some of them will not. So what is this? Well, I'm just doing it in order, but as you can see, it's the change password. So we are providing the ability in here that somebody can go in and change their password. All right. To do that, as you probably expect, you need to know your current password, and then you need to enter a new one and confirm it with a new one. So you can see in here, as far as validation, yeah, there, we got our required fields, but we've got our data type for two of these as well, plus a compare where you're going to compare this with this. All right. Again, there shouldn't be any surprises in there. Incident, add, edit view model. What is this? Well, remember with incidents, it's kind of, I mentioned it before, it's kind of the wild card in that with an incident has to be related to a customer, an incident has to be a product, an incident will hopefully eventually be assigned to a technician. All right. And then there's the incident itself. And then as it says, there's an action in there of add. All right. This is our list of incidents. So this was an individual, us being able to add a new one. This was our list of incidents. All right. And I'm looking in here and we've got an incidents view model and an incident view model. So this is again, this is all of them. This is an individual one in here. All right. There. Login, again, you'll notice some validation in here. I used what they basically set up in the book. I would not have had 255 for a username or a password. I think those are both ridiculous, but it's fine the way it is. All right. You'll notice with the return URL, we talked about this before. That is, if you logged on anonymously and you tried to get someplace, it's in where you were trying to get was something that was set up where you had to be logged in, it would push you to the login page. Then if you logged in successfully, it would move you back to the page you tried to get to originally. That's the return URL. The remember me will create a session, basically a persistent cookie. All right. So that's, in other words, it'll allow you basically when you start to log in, right? If you click that, remember me, all right, it should basically, it's almost like an autocomplete type of thing. All right, the register, again, you'll notice in registering here, much of it looks like what we just looked at for change password, except when you're registering, you don't have a username yet. So we've got to add the username, the first name, the last name. This is the same thing you saw earlier when I registered myself as hello, goodbye. All right. So this is our list basically of registrations. And this is our tech incident. Okay. And again, technicians, incidents. Okay. Now we've just looked at those and you had those already. So I'm going to bring each one of these up. Some of these you probably don't have, but I want you to key those in. So we've got country, customer. We don't need that error view model, of course. Country, customer, incident, product, technician, and user. All right, I'm still thinking there's one missing here. I thought there was a tech incident, but I can't see it on here. That's why I want to make sure that the one I gave you, let me double check this. Let me run this. says Sports Pro Final. It should be the final one. Yeah, I'm still in there as hello goodbye. So let me log out and make sure. Yep, it must be right. Okay. All right. Wait, get out of here. All right. So some of this stuff you're not going to have to change a bit. I did add validation to a bunch of it that's in here. So I'm going to bring these up one at a time so you can see them. The reason I did that again was I managed to cut down the number of warnings that I had when I ran the program about null stuff to about a half dozen by doing what I'm showing you right now. So there's the country ID, or the country, I should say, the country model, or what will become the country table. All right. This is customer. And again, like I said, I put a bunch of validation in there. So I'll just move it up to the top. You don't have to use my messages. You can put in any message in the world you want to put in. I don't care.
Okay, I've got that.
What I would do when you get to this point is I would leave off the regular expression pattern and just make a screen copy of it or whatever, because it's pretty much to type in, as you can see. I don't know why they set the database up like this. They could have set it up just where it was digit, 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 hyphen, digit, 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 hyphen, digit, 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 digit. The regular expression pattern would have been remarkably simple then. But the only way to fix that is to go back in and either use this pattern or go back in and change all the data, which I think would be ridiculous.
Okay, I think I've got all this too. So I had in mind, I had another um, navigation property for registrations. Has that been reworked now?
I don't think it'd hurt for you to leave it in.
Okay.
All right.
All right, then I'm good.
Okay. Let's see. Here's incident. This again, this might be another one that has very little change in it. I don't know.
Okay, I got this. Okay, I've got this one.
Alrighty. With some of these too, we just came in and we basically added a constructor in here, as you can see. Because oh, there's a little more in there than I thought. Okay. I put the range in there of $1 million. You could put anything in there you think is feasible. You know, if you want to make it 100,000 or whatever. Most of the stuff in there, I believe, was under $100, but you know, whatever you think is, you know, makes sense. I'll be right back. Can I
I'm
move
ready to
this
go.
up?
Yeah,
Okay, I was gonna say, there you go.
I think I just need to do the slug. Okay, I've got this one.
There's technician. And again, that's pretty much all of it. I think I can go up to there. There we go. And you probably don't have a user table, all right, or a user.cs domain model. So you'll have to add that one. You could have it, but I didn't think we did.
Okay, got this one.
All right. And this is the user.
Okay, I got that.
Righty. So am I right then in assuming that you were able to go in then and under your tools, NuGet Package Manager, you were able to add that other package?
Yes, I was.
Okay, good. Then what I'd like you to at least try to do right now, and I want to look very quickly at mine. I'd like you to try to do an add migration. You can put whatever you want, added identity tables or whatever. And if the migration works, do an update database. Then, as I've done here, go into SQL Server Object Explorer, refresh and make sure that it created a sports profile that has both all the tables we have here, plus all of the ASP tables that we're going to need for basically working with admin and the other stuff.
I'm not sure if I'll be able to do my update. I've got some other errors in my code that I'm still working out.
Okay. That's fine. If you can't, that's fine. But I mean, that's what everybody's going to have to do in order to go on and be able to do all this stuff. All right, that's fine. Then we'll just go on. All right. Now, normally next we would go into the controllers, and we are going to in just a second. But before we do, right, what I want to do is I want to go into our layout file, our layout.cshtml. And I don't know if this is going to have to change for you or not, but I'd like you to look at what I have here. And no, it's not small. And that's why I want to look at it now, as opposed to what you have. I went back and did some rewrite on it, and I don't know, if this is what people have or what they don't have. I'd rather spend a half an hour here going over this and having you have the correct stuff in here.
I think I just had to add those using statements in the inject statement, but the rest of it looks
Okay, good.
pretty much
And
the same.
all right. Should be able to hit enter here too and bring these down. So make sure you can see everything that's in there.
I don't have quite the same, looks like, nav bar, but I think the rest of mine, I mean, I think it'll probably just be formatted a little differently, but
Okay. Yeah. I
I
went
got
back
like
in
my,
and redid some stuff on there. I just for aesthetic reasons. But yeah,
yeah,
if you've got everything that's in here, no, that's fine.
yeah, I think the logic looks, or the individual items look the same that I
Okay.
have.
All righty. That's not a problem then. Now, you may or may not have this. Do you have the sign and stuff?
I don't think so, because I just added that using statement at the top, or the inject
Okay.
for the sign
Right,
and stuff.
right. So this is right below the last one that's in there. All right. So right after the unordered list, we added another unordered list. And I'll put that up there and leave that up there for now. And let me hit enter here.
So this is still within the nav bar?
It is within, yes.
Okay, let's see.
And the reason for that is, remember that we have technically two different nav bars. We have one for the person who is logged in already and one for the person who is not logged in.
Right, yeah, I think I might be missing some of that. I think I just have the one nav bar, so I'll try to make.
Well, there is only one nav bar. All right. But this is where the logic is.
Okay, okay.
All right. If you're signed in as a user, you're going to see this. Otherwise, if you come in here and you're anonymous, you're going to see this. So like I said, yours might have ended right here with that unordered list. And then you had your nav and your ending nav tag and your ending body tag, etc. What I'm saying is you're going to have to add this stuff that's in here. And I'm really interested, both Grant, with you and everybody in the class. It's funny, I found this book and I like it. I don't love it. Evan loves it. He thinks it's one of the best books he's ever used for a class. I don't necessarily agree. All right. But these, when you're doing your evaluations, everybody at the end of the semester, if you agree with him, fine, not a problem. But it's going to be whether or not he uses this book. Part of it is going to be based off of the evals because he sees all of my evals. He is my boss right now. Not technically, he is. So So let me know if you can when you get down to the else here, and then I'll move this down.
I just got there. Thank you.
All righty.
Okay, I think I've got all that.
Think. Yep, that'll be it.
Okay, I think I've got everything
Good.
now.
Okay. Now there's one more thing I would like us to do today. All right. And that is if you go into your controllers folder now, we're not going to do all of them. There's just not going to be enough time. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 controllers. My guess is you have about half that many. Am I correct?
I've got 8 controllers.
Okay, well, that's good. Now, I broke up the home and the about so they're each in their own controller. I just figured that was a cleaner way of doing it. If yours is working and you don't want to do it, you don't have to. All right. But if you do want to, this is what I had in the about controller. They're both real small now, as you probably guess.
Okay, I got that.
Show you the home, and then we'll just go on from there. So. So again, we took the about out of there, and I just want to show you this quickly. And we were told to put that in here. All right, in the specs.
Okay, I got that.
Now, am I right in assuming you do not have an account controller? Is that correct?
That's correct. I think that's the only one I'm missing.
All right, that's fine. So let's do that one last, and let's go over all the other ones and make sure that we're kind of in sync with one another. So bring up your customer controller, please. Again, not a small thing, it's 100 lines. And look through it. Again, notice the authorized rules equal admin at the top. All right, and as we said before, you were not told that you could come into most of these pages unless you were an administrator. So that's the reason for that.
Okay, I'm ready to go onto the list. There's something up with my repositories. That's where a lot of my errors are coming through.
Okay.
But I'm at least able to type everything in.
You said you were at the list, so go up to here. Well, when you get done fixing this up, like I said, and this is for everybody, if yours doesn't work up until this point, just take your folder and make its own GitHub repository out of it. And please send me an invite and I'll be happy to look at it as soon as I possibly can.
Okay, I've got all of that in. Okay, I'm down to that second edit. Okay. Okay, I've got everything on screen now.
That's it. So
Okay, I think I'm done here.
all right. So this is the incident controller here, and again, they're all pretty big. So I mean, it's up to you. I'll keep going as long as you want to. If you want to continue it tomorrow, whatever you want to do.
It's really fine by me either way. If you're good to keep going, I'm good.
Why don't we do a few more of these? We'll do the account one tomorrow, but let's see
Okay.
if we can get through the rest of these. And if you need a break, just let me know.
Okay.
And this is the incident controller here. And while you're doing that, I'm sorry, I got to go out and get more Kleenex. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm down to the list now.
All right.
Okay, I've got that.
Again, a lot of this should be very similar to what we had in there before. I changed some names around and the like just to kind of make it smaller. But if you've got the logic and you don't want to change the names like VM for just view model, if you called it something else, it's no biggie one way or the other.
Mine's actually a bit different. I have a lot less, just the query. I don't have the query options in there.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
okay, I'm done with that HTTP get. Okay, I've got that one then. Okay, I'm ready to scroll down. Okay, I'm ready to go to the delete. Okay, I've got that one. Okay, I'm done at the add. Okay, I'm ready to go down. Okay, I'm done with that one.
I think this is it. That I think you were down to the delete, correct?
Yes, I am.
You had that? Okay.
Okay, I've got all that.
All right. That was the product, right? Yep.
Okay, I've got that first one. Okay, I'm down to the else statement. Okay, I have all that. Mr. Scott, I'm ready to go on. Mr. Scott?